We have in the studio to start the discussions with us Dr. Maurice Ampam is a lawyer, but particularly we will also be looking at the legal side of issues, and especially when we've had so many unfortunate or tragic incidents over the last 24 hours. We'll be, transiting between the roads and regulations for buildings or putting up structures, etc. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks.
How are you?
By His grace.
All right.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, okay. Not too many things to be excited about, especially on the front page of the Daily Graphic, just as represented on the front pages of many of the newspapers this morning. That very tragic incident that took place in Boy town here in Acquah. That a 7-story building collapsed and at least one person was confirmed dead. Efforts were made to undertake those rescue activities. Some success was achieved, but then we're back to square one about whether enforcement of building codes or regulations is something that city authorities really put on their priority list, and especially when this is coming on the heels of that very incident at Achimota, which involved that very Malcolm building or shopping mall. Many have a lot of things to be worried about.
Oh yeah, I think this is a very, very sad story, and I think that as a nation we don't learn, and also as a nation we don't take issues very serious, and also we don't actually go after those who we pay them to do the right jobs for us. This will call for heads, I think, in a very developed country.
Because I was just about to say in the US and perhaps in the UK or somewhere in Australia.
If you are the mayor for a community, twice incident has happened, you should resign. Nobody will force you. You should resign. So I think it's a very, very disturbing story.
Yesterday, I was just going through the building quote of the AMA and some other metro assemblies, which stated specifically that before you start any construction, you needed to come to the assembly, you come and make an application, and then they come to undertake some level of inspection, then they give you a permit. Well, even within those processes, there's some level of stages you need to go through before you qualify to be given the permit. It's something that even as lay developers we don't do.
Definitely, we find ourselves in a situation whereby the laws are there, but the enforcement is a problem, because we have a situation whereby those who are supposed to enforce the law realize that they are making a lot of money rather if they don't enforce it. So what happens is that out of frustration, somebody who have acquired a line and want to build normally is put into a serious stress where getting building permits becomes a problem. So you try to pass corners, and then those who are benefiting from the systems are happy. This issue, the mayor has come up to say that, look, by applying the building code, they went and then placed a stop work sign. They wrote a stop work that the one who is developing the property to stop, and nothing happened. And if this is the explanation that they've done the work.
So you think that's just a mere excuse?
It's not an excuse.
But it just also shows that the institutions are not working,
they are not working at all. You see, and then there's an allegation that one inspector came there and then gave that inspector 4,000 Ghana cedis.
You mean the developer?
Yes. So the developer even bribed one of the inspectors. It's an allegation. You see the thing? So we are talking about a situation where the laws of the land are not being applied, and those who are to ensure the enforcement are doing nothing about it, and those who are supposed to ensure that laws are being enforced are also doing nothing about it. You see the thing? So when it comes to this issue, who will look at the presidency is the chief executive. Everybody's is somehow under.
Well, we do understand that it's just an issue involving a metropolitan assembly, or just like many municipal and district assemblies that are expected to enforce laws. What has that got to do with the president?
The president is the chief executive officer,
and so
therefore he appoints.
So in a minute incident that happens,
he must quickly sack the mayor and put somebody there who will do that.
You don't think you're putting undue hardship on the president?
No,
pressure.
He must take responsibility. You see, he's the father of the nation. This is going to disturb him. You see, this is going to have some negative effect on the
administration.
Definitely. People will look at the president and say, look, president, who are those you put out there? Why can't you act? Why can't you take action?
In your own estimation, what do you think we didn't learn from that very incident that happened in Achimota involving that very shopping mall?
I think what we did was the blame game. Quickly started finding out who is to be blamed, and then we push all the blame on Melcom. And you can see that those who are supposed to ensure safety were all blaming Melcom, and then we were putting pressure on Melcom. Oh, pressure, Melcom didn't do well, compensation, and we forgot about the report. As of now, there is a report, and the mayor is telling us that the report is not yet ready to be given to the president. He said the report is yet to be given to the president. That's the explanation he's giving. But we all shifted blame on Melcom, and we said Melcom should pay the victims money, and we were rather interested in how much they have paid the victims, and then we took on Melcom, and we left those who have the statutory duty to ensure that the right thing is done. We didn't put pressure on the mayor, the building inspectors, the architects, and then those who went and construct the building. But rather, we held the owner of the building alone, accused the owner, and then put pressure on the owner, and everybody went to sleep.
I do understand all the concerns you're raising, particularly when we have professionals who are also members of very big professional organizations. We have the Institution of Engineers, Architects, Surveyors, etc. Are these not supposed to serve as pressure groups also to make sure that if the regulations within the system we have is not working, then the right quarters need to make sure they enforce the regulations?
Definitely, these professional groups are there. But you see, the one who is building thinks that is so wise enough, he wants to cut down costs. So instead of engaging the service of professional, which is somehow expensive, they go in and refuse to engage them. Now the professional cannot go and lobby for work. He cannot go and say, look, you are building, therefore you have to come and consult as architects or the site engineers. So we have a situation whereby we sit down, those who are building will not engage the service of the professionals, and then end up causing this difficult situation for all of us now. And then we start blaming. You realize, as we're right now speaking, you realize that we are nations that we talk a lot. The professionals will start screaming, and then we have rules and regulations, and then we start calling on the engineers, architects, surveyors, everybody, including yesterday. I was really disappointed in the Deputy Minister of Works and Housing. He was trying to rather tell us what is the problem, what we are not doing right,
instead of finding the solution. Okay. Just a few hours ago, I was speaking to an engineer, and he said that the only difference between this one and the incident at Achimota just a little over 12 months ago was because basically this one had not many people in the building, and so the fatalities recorded low. But if we had a lot more people, then we would have even recorded a lot more fatality. Look, because this one actually is a 7th floor building, and that one was just about 3 or 4.
I'm surprised, 7. And we have to thank God that this thing happened the day it happened. But can you imagine that this man was able to complete the project? And I learned it's a hotel. And after completion of the project, the place is painted very well designed. And then you have guests. People are employed as receptionists, and all those employees there. Then you have guests occupying the building. Then you have the problem of what we call the occupiers liability. Seriously, there was going to be a disaster. So we should thank God that at this stage, during the construction stage, this disaster happened. But if the disaster did not happen, and the man was able to finish the building, and then it will surprise you that with the structure, you have a nice launching of the building. People will go there, including people for the assembly, will hail the building, and then people will start occupying. The man will be in business, and this disaster will happen, and then we'll be in serious trouble. So we are not actually holding people responsible in the nation. We talk a lot, and I can tell you, the first one led to a lot of talking. This one, second one, too, the same thing. And then it will surprise you that third one
will create some level of euphoria, and then get those who are expected to act within a short space of time. We have on the line the Executive Director of the Bureau of Public Safety, Nana Yao Acquah, and thanks for joining us on the phone or on the line. Now, basically, the incident yesterday. Throughout the last 12 months, what had you been doing to make sure that you assess the situation over the last couple of months in terms of how the various metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies were enforcing building codes?
Good morning to your viewers, and I'm glad to join you. A sad day for Ghana indeed, and I mentioned just yesterday that if the status quo remains as it is, we are likely to have a lot more of such incidents on hand in the coming years.
What status quo are you referring to?
Well, we have state institutions mandated, given the power to halt public nuisances or incidences that pose a potential threat to the public. We have state institutions that have been mandated to, as it were, they have the power to immediately effect a stop on such development. And such state institutions rather would want to, treat such developers or such violations with kid gloves. Then we are likely to have these incidents on hand. And I want to speak, Roland, I want to speak not in particular reference to the issue of yesterday, but in general terms, because as a Bureau of Public Safety, we've had a lot of instances come face to face with state institutions over such incidences, and when we approach them, they don't normally go in with the kind of urgency or approach such incidents with the kind of urgency and sharpness that is required. I cite to you a specific case in Tema where we have this restaurant discharging raw sewage into an open drainage, and the Bureau of Public Safety has made a report, a formal report to the TMA, the Public Health Department, and we know that in their regulations they have the right to stop this immediately. They have decided to go about it in so likely a manner that after over a month and a half, it was only last Tuesday that we went.
Okay, Nana, I would want to know what makes you think that the situation is alarming, because over the last year or so, we've only had about 3 incidents, if I remember vividly. Following that very Malcolm incident, we had another incident in Kumasi, and this one, which is perhaps the next disaster. So what makes you think that the situation is that pervasive, and perhaps also authorities are not doing their work?
Roland, I'll take this from 2 fronts. One, the cost of such incidents to the nation and individuals and families is not quantifiable. It's invaluable. The families who have lost their loved ones, for them it is not an only 3 incidents. 1. And then number 2, the fact that Ghana is approaching a middle income country, the fact that we are a middle income country, the fact that we've discovered oil, means that we're going to have a lot more of such development coming up in.
Well, his line seemed to have dropped, but he was making a point there. Now we have a lot more of skyscrapers or high-rise buildings being put up across major cities in Ghana, if we have major cities at all apart from Accra, or let's say urban areas in Accra, and Tema, in Kumasi, Takrady, etc. Should we be worried that the regulations are not enforced and the systems are not checked?
I think we should be worried. Land has become a scarce commodity, very expensive in the city. So definitely people are making good use of the space up there. And then those who are responsible to ensure that the buildings are not only strong, safe and secured for human occupation, and then for it also not to cause a lot of havoc for neighbors, are refusing to act. And this issue of stop work has become something that we all don't take it serious. Anytime there is a building, you see stop work, and we don't know those who come to write those stop work. And it seems that those who are mandated to ensure that these regulations are implemented are not taking it very serious. Right now, we have a lot of structures as we speak right now. 7, more than 8, still going on. What are we going to do? Are we going to do an audit of all these structures and then find out who is behind, who are the engineers. When the moment you have a building structure of about 7, 8 story building, quickly they must have people to go and then do an audit as to who is constructing the building, what are your documents, your permits, who are the site engineers,
and the city regulations.
Seriously should be taken into consideration.
Nana is back on the line. Now, Nana, for you, as you were citing before your line tripped or went off, you are citing the springing up of various high-rise buildings or structures across cities in Ghana. And you feel that if perhaps the authorities don't make sure that they enforce the regulations, we could have more tragedies on our hands. Do you think that is really the case? And why do you make that very conclusion?
Raymond, precisely so. Sometime after the Melcom incident, the Bureau of Public Safety did make a call on authorities to take steps to certify artisans, take steps to make sure that they bring these people together, because in the absence of this, everyone is working according to his own standards, and there's
Well, we seem to be having some difficulty with the lines this morning. And he was making a point about people working according to their own standards, but there are laws. And you are a lawyer. If there are regulations and the one who's supposed to enforce the regulation is not enforcing it, then what happens?
What happens is that we have a situation whereby there is what we call lawlessness. The culture of impunity prevails. Everybody begins to build anyhow. We don't care. And then disasters will occur. But then I think it's high time that we should take those who we have employed to court. I think civil society must begin to sue them from...
Are you talking or referring to public officers?
Public officers. You see, we should not allow the president alone. I think it got to a stage now we have to also take them on for professional negligence. Because if you are
referring to issues of accountability.
Accountability.
Okay.
You see that if we pay you to ensure our safety, and you fail to work, and then disaster occurs, you should be held responsible and liable, and we should not leave it to the president alone. I think civil society must begin to also go to court and test the law that if you are a mayor of the city and under your jurisdiction twice, a disaster like this have occurred, what is the guarantee that the third one will not occur? Because you are not, and then you should be able to come out to concrete measures and programs to ensure that you have control over these incidents. What are you doing? So you have a situation whereby we allow these incidents to go. The first incident, the committee report is not in. The president have not gotten it. And then the second one is coming. The same issue will come again. There will be another report. And then meanwhile, we have dangerous buildings still.
Okay.
Around.
If there was a victim in there, perhaps who has been rescued, or somebody who lost their life in a very tragic incident like this, what steps can the family take in the eyes of the law to perhaps get some remedies, whether it's compensation or whatever? And where is that going to come from? Is it a complaint being made? And then who is going to be liable? Is it the building owner or the city authority who is supposed to do the supervision? In such a case, if we have a hypothetical case like that. In such a case,
those who are working there, there's a duty of their employer to provide them safety and to ensure that they work in a safe environment. So they have a case against the owner of the building for neglecting to provide them the safety that they need at the building. But those who have lost their life, injured, and especially the neighbors around who suffered nervous shock. You see, because the building, it was like a blast. So those neighbors have a case against the owner of the building for negligence, because he's a neighbor, and in law, you should do everything not to cause injury to your neighbor. You should take all necessary steps to ensure that his act do not cause
so
injury.
All in a bit, just to test the law.
Test the law,
right?
Sue the owner of the building and add mayor.
Test the law.
And add AMA.
Okay.
And then go for declaration.
Nanaya Akwada. Nanaya?
Yes, I'm here.
Now, if society needs to get a lot more from those in public office. The Lawyer Acquah is advocating perhaps people need to test the law before the courts. How should we hold accountable those who should be in authority and who need to be enforcing regulations that currently it seems are not?
Well, thank you. I think I want to agree with Lawyer Acquah that people should test the law, and I think that in fairness to justice, it should be those people should be able to have their day in court. As a country, we have gone through this one too many. If it's not a gas blast at the filling station, injuring many and killing people, it's a building collapse, or it's someone who just says that I lost control of my wheels, and then I get someone trapped for 3 to 6 hours, putting people through unnecessary trauma. And so I think that we should come to that stage where people or society will be willing to take up public officers and developers or individuals who do things that causes nuisance and trauma to those people. Having said that, it is important that yesterday I heard a whole lot of public officers, the IGP, Defense Minister, AMA, Interior Minister, MPs, and all these people commenting on this incident. And it's a bit worrying, if not disappointing, that we have all these people coming in and nobody calling for any scrutiny to be made and for heads to roll. Because we think that we saw Malcolm, we saw 2 others falling in Kumasi and another in Sunyani, and then another in Accra, and another in Accra again. After Malcolm, what is the Ministry of Interior doing? What measures have they put in place that, in addition to what we or our colonial masters left us, what have we added on? How practical are those regulations that are supposed to govern in such industries?
Nana,
and how far have these been followed?
Nana, do you agree that we have the codes or the regulations, and so if they suffice, then you say that we should be protected? I mean, if the laws were being implemented or enforced, right?
Exactly so.
Okay.
Exactly so, Roland.
All right.
Because yesterday we were told yesterday by the mayor that this developer has been approached on a certain number of times. The question is, just approaching the people with letters is not enough, because you have the mandate to halt this activity. You have the mandate to arrest people who continue this development in spite of your notice to halt development. And so, to the extent that you just serve them letter, that in itself accounts to some level of negligence. And I think that we should be able to take such developers and take such authorities on.
Okay. Thank you very much. Nana Acquah is the Executive Director for the Bureau of Public Safety. They make sure that the safety of the public is always a paramount issue. So they look at not only issues of construction, but also the environment, everything, health, public safety. Well, so now it means that the right things need to be done. There's a subject also, just not very much related, about an ex-detainee, a gentleman who was remanded in court, in prison custody, so to speak, and it took 14 years for him to be let out of that very jail by a judge. Then a lawyer who I think was running a pro bono service, civil society, a charity sort of, decided to spearhead his case for him. Now the gentleman is out of the courts with 200,000 Ghana cedi compensation, because the Human Rights Court in Accra awarded that to the gentleman, Francis Ejari. And the court, presided over by Justice Kofi Mensah, awarded the damages against the state after determining that the fundamental rights of Ejari, a 46-year-old motor mechanic were violated without recourse to the law. We're being told that Francis was arrested together with 57 others on criminal charges in 1994 at Jamestown. And I believe there were a number of swoops within the period. And the swoop was, of course, conducted by the army and the police. He was put behind bars for more than 48 hours and subsequently arraigned before the Accra Circuit Court on charges of robbery and conspiracy. Following that, I think 1 or 2 adjournments, he was forgotten.
Who do you blame? The state is going to... This is judgment debt. This seriously is part of the judgment debt.
Not committed by a political figure, right? A public officer. Just a public...
Our institutions
yes.
did not work. So this is part of the... this
you are a lawyer.
Yes.
We always hear from you, I mean you the lawyers, that we have quite a number of them, hundreds if not thousands of people in the country's penal system like these.
Definitely. You see, who do you blame? You blame the judge who sat on this case.
The initial
one, because once an accused person has been brought before you, he's under your custody. You remanded the accused person. So you must track where the accused person is. So once you remanded the accused person, on the court day, if the accused person is not brought, you should ask where is the accused person. You see the thing? But you have a judge who also forgot about the accused person. And then they have the investigator of the case and the prosecution also forgetting the accused person. What actually happened in this case is that once they were brought, and also blame the AG department. Maybe the docket was sent for advice and they refused to act. The man is not important. He's not influential. You know, he's an ordinary person.
So there's a problem wrong with the system?
The system.
Okay, so now let's start. Usually, in a case like this, what would have happened? A swoop, and we know that swoops were conducted those times, and even in the early part or up to the middle part of the 2000s, swoops were conducted a lot, just to make sure that criminal gangs and their activities were kept. And I've reported a number of them over the years. So these suspects are arraigned before the court?
Yes.
And then what happens?
What you have done is that before we are arraigned before the court, when it's a remand, you tell the judge that, look, investigations are going to on. So you do screening, allow the public to come and identify whether some of them are killed. Then you get that evidence. Once you are not getting the evidence, leave them, let them go. So it's a question of just swooping. We did not do anything, no screening, no evidence was gathered against them. We just dumped them for 14 good years. This man could have made more than 200 Ghana cedis.
200,000.
1,000 Ghana cedis. And then
he could have been a big billionaire
somewhere. See, so
even though at the time he was an auto mechanic.
So we should not pay these 200 Ghana cedis and let investigations go into the matter. Let's find out those who caused the judgment debt. Let's find out who was the investigator in the matter, who was the prosecution in the matter, who was the judge in the matter, the AG department who was responsible for the docket, and let them bring them to book. If not, these things will continue because we need to save the nation's money. These 200,000 Ghana cedis could have built a school or could have used to do something better for the nation. I've
lived in communities, for example, I grew up in Ashaiman, where police come to conduct swoops. If you go to Nima, Mamobi, you know, they identify certain areas, ghetto areas, and they claim that, because there are a number of incidents there, it's perceived to be hideout for criminals, etc. They come to conduct these swoops. And sometimes you have your friends who have been detained and they're forgotten. What should the justice system do once these cases are before the courts, but these cases have not been called? What should the justice system do? Quickly,
the judge should be held responsible. You see, the judge, the accused, the person suspect is brought before you. So it's under your jurisdiction, under your power. You remanded the substance. So
but it's supposed to be a public prosecutor, right?
But you, the judge, is the one who remanded. So on the court date, you should make sure that the accused person is brought before court. And then the CID should also go and bring that and the prosecution. But we have a situation whereby the AG department, the prosecution, and the investigating department, including the judges, at times negligently forget these people who have been remanded, and then their docket is thrown somewhere, and they are there. And the prison officers also should be held responsible. Because if you have prison officers who are keeping somebody for 14 years, why shouldn't they also complain that, look, we have so many remand prisoners, and this particular person for almost 14 years? It's a breach of the constitutional rights. So we have caused serious financial loss to the states, and people should be held responsible for their actions. Because if not, we have opened the floodgate. A lot more people who are remembered, when they come out, they will file a suit. And you see the kind of judgment they are going to incur as a result of this kind of negligence.
But can somebody in the prisons still be on remand and pursue?
Yeah, definitely. He will go to court and ask for a bail, and once bail is granted and they think that it has been neglected, it's constitutional. This case has become an example. It has become a precedent for other remandees, people who have been remanded and their constitutional rights have been abused. They will begin to toe the same line. And if you have so many of these ones there,
it's also an eye-opener for a lot more human rights lawyers who want to. Perhaps if they are not getting cases, you just have to.
Definitely. And we have so many of these cases. And when a state starts losing money, then the right things will be done. I think we need a stakeholders meeting, the judiciary, the police, the AG department, and the prisons should make sure that. That's why we have this justice for all system. I think that they normally go there and try to give bail to those who have been remanded unlawfully. But we should be more serious and not allow the states to continue to lose money because of people's negligence.
So now, now what happens to the others in the prisons? What happens to them until their case is brought before any other judge, or until a human rights lawyer who wants to do a pro bono service decide to take up their case?
Yes, I think
nothing happens.
What the lawyer should have done was to apply for all of them. But then, if this is a precedent, that means that they also have to file. If they can even file it on their own and go to court and argue their case, they can file those processes at the prison custodies, and then also serve the necessary authorities, and then go and then say that, look, my lord, we are also unlawfully be detained for so many years, and then we think that as there is a precedent, we also are entitled to. And you will see the amount that will be causing a lot of financial loss to the states.
We're being told that he was released under the Justice for All program.
Yeah, definitely.
But he thought that, well, some wrong had been committed towards him.
Wrong. And this is 14 years. We have others who will be more than 14 years. Even 5 years is too much. You see the thing, the law says that if you arrest a person and you want to try him within a reasonable time, try him. If you don't have evidence, leave the person. If you have evidence, go and prosecute. But if you fail to do so, and then you detain the person without any trial, then you are infringing upon human rights, and then these are the compensations. But my fear is that this case will open the floodgate a lot more, and I'm sure criminal cases do not have expiring date. Therefore, somebody who have also suffered wrong and did not take action will say, "Yay, 3 years ago I also was detained unlawfully. Therefore, I also go to court." You see
usually when such cases are brought before the court, what goes on before a judge? I mean, there's somebody who has been in remand for years. So it means what? They have to go and gather evidence?
Oh, no, the documents are there. The documents are there, the files are there. So all that you need to do, you get information from the prison services. They will give you information how long this person has been there. And then you track the docket. And quickly you file an application before the court.
What if the case had gone through the process of adjudication? Perhaps the person could have been found guilty. What about that?
Oh, definitely. Once there's a trial.
No, for this one there was no conclusive trial. They were just remanded. And after the case was not, maybe after some adjournment, it was not called again. So he's been forgotten. Yeah. So he's not been tried to say that he was guilty.
Yes.
So then what are we presenting before the judges? That I was not guilty, or what?
We are saying that.
Because you were remanded for a reason.
Yes, we are saying that we are not guilty because we are not been pronounced guilty by a competent court of jurisdiction after a full trial. So now you are keeping me there, you are not trying me, and I'm saying I'm innocent. The law says that I'm innocent. I'm presumed to be innocent. So once you arrested me, the law is on my side. There's a presumption that I'm innocent. Go and prove your case against me, and you're not doing it, and I'm there. So definitely, you are infringing upon my right. Because I'm insisting by law that I'm not innocent. The man did not plead guilty before the court. Neither did he, in his confession statement, say that I'm guilty of the alleged crime or against by which I'm being detained. So you have a duty, the state have a duty to prosecute. And if you're not prosecuting, then why do you keep the person? Those is a unlawful detention. Taking the law into your own hands. And now the state is paying me and you, our taxpayers' money, is being used to pay for some people's intentional negligent acts, the judge should be found. The judge who is, I'm calling on the Chief Justice to investigate this case, to find out who was the judge handling and what happened. And then the Attorney General Department, which of the state attorney was handling the case. Now the investigator in the matter, let them begin to deduct money from their salary. These 200,000 Ghana cedis, let's look for those who caused this loss and let them pay. Deduct from their salary, and next time they will be very serious with issues bothering the states.
The human rights aspect is somebody is detained for a long time and is denied basic human rights?
Yes, it's denied the right to fair trial.
Yes. There was a soup.
There was a soup, and you are making, and there was a soup, and then you said you suspect that I've committed a crime. Fine, I said I have not. Now go and prosecute me, and you fail to do so. You are denying me of fair trial to my right to personal liberty and freedom, because you are keeping me there without charging me and without prosecuting me. So my detention becomes unlawful. See, if you have a case against me, go and prove it, and let me be properly convicted and sentenced, but you fail to do so. So what you are doing is that you are keeping me there, and then you are not trying me, and I'm still insisting that I'm innocent, and for 14 years, nobody is hearing my side of the story. Because you see, if they have prosecuted this case, there will not be evidence to establish the guilt of the man. So therefore, the court will discharge and acquit. But they refused to keep the person. They became their judges. They sentenced him on a silent note, and the man was suffering 14 years.
Okay. What compels prosecutors to keep people like this in the court, in the prisons? Is it because they don't have enough evidence at the time?
Yes, normally what happens is that when the cases are normally being rushed to court for these people to be remanded, then they send a docket to the AG department, and the prosecutor says that once the AG department have not come out with advice as to whether to continue or not, then they keep on waiting, and they wait and wait till they cannot come.
Who is supposed to pursue? Is there a prosecutor?
It's the CID. See, but this is a poor ordinary Ghanaian. This will never happen to a very influential person in society. Quickly, he will get justice. But this is somebody who nobody is interested in him. He looks so wretched.
So that's why.
That's why. I do not hear when Agudi, what has happened to him? If he was in custody, they were thinking of setting him free. So somebody who's influential, the law will protect that person. But this person is an ordinary Ghanaian, vulnerable.
So who takes care of people like this, in this very category of people? Who takes care of them? Those who perhaps don't have the resources to hire the services of a lawyer,
yeah, definitely,
or a legal counsel.
Definitely, these days and age, the service of a lawyer is very expensive. Getting access to justice are very costly because you need a lawyer to go in and do the case for you. Transportation cost and the cost of filing so unbearable. And who will go? And the cost of legal education, now 10,000 plus. To become a lawyer in this country, you need almost about 50,000 Ghana to 100,000 Ghana. When 14 years ago, I paid 30 Ghana a whole year for legal education. And now somebody have to cough.
You mean 30 Ghana?
30 Ghana for the whole year.
That's how many?
300,000. And I was giving.
That was huge.
Yes, and I was giving.
That was how many years ago?
13 years ago.
That was huge. 300,000.
No, 30 Ghana, and I was giving 150 Ghana as bursary and 150 Ghana as loan. So I go and tell the bursary that, look, give me 120 and take 30 Ghana, and I'll be rich at 120 because I have a bursary scholarship of 1.5, and I'm paying 300,000 those days. But now it's 10,000 plus. So the cost of legal education, and then we also make the legal profession a bourgeoisie profession. Lawyers are supposed to live in such a way. If you're a lawyer, they are working, who will respect you. When we eat, it's a question. Our lifestyle is making it very expensive for lawyers to do pro bono cases. And then we are not supposed to also tout or advertise. Lawyers look we need to stop these things. This
perhaps it's because it's a culture from
the British. Yeah. Look at the way we are struggling.
The criminal law.
Look at the way I was struggling. Our coat, dark coat with gown, with beef, and then.
But in the US, they don't wear your robes.
In America, let's be free. Let's localize the legal profession.
But we've taken our own from a normal common law system.
Can you have a local kente, for lawyers to be free? Let's particularize what the president is saying. Localization of everything.
Okay, so now people like Mr. Jari need help. I mean, he has gotten help. So those on remand, what do they do now?
Now they have to fall on human rights activities, and then they also have to fall on legal aid lawyers to come to their aid. And then those who want to do legal advocacy freely can also help. Then this is where the NGOs, those NGOs who go and then take huge money in the name of these ones, and then they chop big seminars. You see, we have a problem in this country. Big money. They go and lobby money from Star Ghana and those things, and they come and parade two people, and then the remaining is gone. Seminars, symposiums, public lecture. For them when people are there. They'll go and, it's supposed to be for pro bono activities. Yes, they'll come and topic, big British Council, how to deal with justice. Then the people are suffering.
Injustice in the penal system.
Then they justify the money, and Star Ghana and Co are ready to give money to those people.
You sound like a very peeved lawyer.
I'm so excited.
You're so peeved. You sound like a very peeved lawyer because you feel that a lot more is not being done by people of your fraternity.
Definitely. We are not helping the poor and the rich. And if you go and do it, your own colleagues will come and attack you. Your own colleagues will not be happy with you.
Osage, man.
Yes. Why not?
Okay. Now, how do we deal with all this? I mean, because it seems that this man is just one of thousands of others who has gotten lucky.
Thank God this case has become a precedent.
Yeah, because somebody fought it for free. This gentleman.
Yes, but the man today...
his lawyer is called Francis Xavier Kojo-Sosu.
Yes, he has become a hero. Well, and his name will go into the good books.
Well, he'll go into the good book. Whose good book? God's good book?
No, yes, God's book. You'll be blessed by God, and at the same time, when you go to, if you have this publishing, Ghana Law Reports, and he's lucky for the case to be published, then at least he has done so for the legal fraternity.
But he says that we have a lot more people in the country's penal system who don't have access. He feels this is an affront to human rights, and really this was a victory for democracy and human rights in Ghana. But this is just one of the several victories that need to be chalked down.
Definitely. What are we doing? We have these cases and nothing's been done. My worry with this nation is that we talk too much. The seminars are many. The public forums are many. The symposiums are many. Let's begin to do let's go down. Bring justice to the doorstep of the people. Let us begin to look at how we are practically living and bringing justice to the doorstep of the people, and stop the too much talk. It's not helping us as a nation.
All right. Let's look at this very issue. There's this gentleman who was gunned down, or I hear he was murdered.
Yes.
Fennec. Yes, Fennec. He's called Fennec. Emmanuel Fennec Otri, we're being told, is the manager for Korkese, but also I think a music producer or something of the sort.
Yeah.
What do you make of the incident? If you read the story, he was stabbed severally by people they believe were armed robbers, but nobody really seemed to know the true state of the subject. A 31-year-old, and the Peshi Divisional Police Commander told the Daily Graphic that a police team made up of the Homicide and Crime Squad was deployed to the scene at the Manette estate on the Spinters Road, and it could have been one of the two things. He's saying either homicide or just a normal crime. They saw an empty bullet shell that was found in the room of the gentleman, while a hammer suspected to have been used to break into the room had also been retrieved. What do you make of it?
This is so personal to me. That's the reason why I'm in black.
Oh, you know the gentleman?
Yes, it's my boy. I taught him in school, Tanzania College, and I quite remember once in school he walked closely to me and said, "Loyampa, I'm stopping the school. I don't have money. I want to go out there," and I held him to Happy FM.
To start his media career.
So I know the boy is a friend.
But what do you make of the incident?
It's very sad. It shows that we are all not safe. Because the safest place to be is to retire to your bedroom. And if we allow in this country, when there is evidence that the guy came out publicly, was published in the newspapers, that is under threat, and nobody took it serious, The police are saying that there should be formal complaint. Do you want formal complaint before you protect us? Do all of us have to go to the police station and make formal complaint before you protect us? When this guy is a public figure, Fenech was a public figure, he had issues with Musica, and it was all over the media. And then he came out to say that he's been threatened, and there was a publication. The police said that they should come and make a formal complaint before we are protected. We are not safe in this country. And if these things can happen, then everybody is under threat, because you can be killed by anybody. And now those who are killing are now becoming very bold, because they realize that, look, in Ghana here, our security has broken down, there's lawlessness, there's impunity. So now people can threaten you. And this is serious. All of us are not safe. All of us are not safe. So we should not take this. This is a very serious issue. And to those who decided to go and do this, they are cowards. And, they think they will not die. They will also die. I don't know the issues between you and the boy, but you could have sorted it out. You could have sorted it out. But going to kill him, my pain is 30 years, his ambitions. Yeah. And he just got married to a beautiful woman. 2 years. He hasn't even enjoyed his marriage. He has one son. Now he's leaving this beautiful woman for who to go. And then look at the ambition. And I learned that he is the one not only managing Ekokese, but every act of Ekokese is his idea. Whatever Ekokese does on stage is the idea of that young guy. The guy is so passionate, and he works for Zoom Lion as well. He's so passionate. And
he works in the same group that I work in.
Definitely. So this is a young, talented guy who has a lot for the nation, and we have lost such a person. But let's take our security serious. And I'm pleading with all our celebrities, please watch your lifestyle. Humility is already big, humble. And then also know how to talk. Please, when you go and make any business and they are sharing money, don't take the bigger one. Allow, if you are the leader, please, allow the younger ones to share. Let's be security conscious, please. And I'm surprised, because once you are under security threat, you should have gone in for security, personal security, and then you don't work alone. You see that thing? You don't work alone. And definitely, I think, and then you went in for personal gun. This is not enough. But I'm sure he knows his assailant. It was something between him and assailant, and it was a daring thing. But instead of him allowing people to come in to assist, he started to take it personally. And sorry for him. And I think that we all have to learn a lesson. We will all leave this world, but let's be security conscious. Don't eat from one place. Don't work at one place. Don't drive one car. At times, park your car and walk. And then don't mingle too much with people, because you don't know people's. Then try and be honest with your dealing. Let your heart guide you. It's the strongest security you can have.
Okay. Yesterday, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo was visited by the chairman for the Central and Western regions. He said unity was critical. I know you don't like commenting on party.
I can't.
Okay.
I'm a political animal.
Okay, I do understand. But what do you make of him visiting Kumasi and now all these visitations by the various chairmen? Does it create an equitable platform for the other interested individuals who would also want to contest, even though he has not publicly come out to say, I want to contest?
There's nothing wrong with anyone who wants to contest him to also go out. The man has not played injunction on anybody. That is his strategy. He lost an election. He lost an election petition. Psychologically, he has to go out of the scene and take rest. And before leaving, people were rushing him at his home. And the guy, Nana Addo, I respect him a lot. He's a statesman, he's a good statistician. He went out there and has branded himself once again. He has come. And those who want to contest me are in the system. They have the privilege to go out there. And so I don't see anything wrong. He's trying to test his pulse.
So you think that the criticism being leveled against him, that perhaps he's trying to take advantage of the situation, that because he was the last flag bearer, etc., to try to cut the sympathy of the publics within the MPP to gain a lot more following than he already has?
No, I think it's unfair, because you see, whether you like it or not, Nana now is the face of MPP. The man is popular. He will beat anybody else now. The BNFC have come out with a report. He's popular even more in Ashanti region. This is Achimman, more popular in Ashanti region. The man doesn't need even to campaign. The man can decide to be at home and people will come. But he wants to show maturity. And so, why this criticism? Those who want to compete him, you also go out there and make yourself popular. That is my opinion. But I'm sad about a particular group that came out to now attack the man. They said Ashanti youth organization. And then they were saying that why should I now go to Ashanti region and then stand in his car and wave because he's challenging the authority of the president. He wants to make himself another republic and he's challenging to for this is unfair, it's arrogant. We should grow past this kind of partisan politics. This is a statesman. This is the man who brought peace to the nation by accepting the election petition. The verdict.
He was one of the people who brought peace.
One, but critical. He's the key. You see, if you have refused, I can tell you before God, the man, he's the key. If you have said no, I will not accept the verdict. Ghana would be, it will take the presidency, money, and the state to protect the security. You see, so for him to say that I disagree, but I accept, it was enough. And I respect the president also for allowing himself to be dragged to court for 8 months. Kudos. But I'm saying that Nando have also done well. So we should respect such a figure and we should allow him. I like the way he's followed himself. It's my prayer that he should not do things that will divide the nation, but rather move the nation forward. And then let's see what fruit our rubber. But let everybody continue to do what he can do for the nation Ghana. The most important thing is about the nation Ghana. This is the son of the nation. Let's support him. Let's support the president. And then let's Ghanaians decide.
Okay. We're being told that on April 12th, we're going to have the national executive elections of the party. And following that, we have Paul Afoko, who also now has been cleared by the vetting committee of the party. But that was not after that rancor and hula baloo about whether he had committed certain crimes in the United Kingdom. And subsequently, he's been cleared.
That is good for Afoko. If I were him, normally setbacks are an opportunity. So he can take advantage and then begin to push hard his campaign. The most important thing is that the MPP people have to decide. All of Ghanaians are interested in what happens in the party because we all hold the duty to ensure that the party succeeds, both in power and out of power. The NDC too, whatever happens in the NDC is our concern. Whatever happens in PPP is our concern. It's not, the political party is a political body. It's not a private organization. We can freely join and come out of it. We contribute. Whatever they do affects us. Therefore, we should be interested in whatever happens in every political party and then also speak our mind and then try to push them to do the right thing for the sake for the nation.
The concern that was raised, particularly in the case of Paul Afoko, was that all these delays perhaps may or might not have given him enough time to campaign.
No, if the people love you, they love you. It's not about campaigning. You see, if they love you, your message is good. You can use 2-3 days.
Are you saying people don't love him? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying when they love you, they love you. You know, and then normally when you being faced situations like that, you rather come out and say, Nkrumah, what happened to Nkrumah? Nkrumah out of prison came out and then beat Danquest and co. So when you are popular, you are popular. They can even put you in jail. And when the time has come, when God has ordained you to be the chairman, nothing can stop you. So I think that's the belief of Paul Afoko. Should go out there and let the people decide.
So now, what should be the steps that need to be taken by the party in itself? Does the party allow Nanado to be receiving visitors and going around? Because he seems to have a crowd, really. Doesn't it mean that perhaps you see him in the company of, let's say, the majority leader or the minority leader and some other leaders of the party, not the national executive leaders, but perhaps members of parliament who are also very influential, etc. Doesn't it signify that perhaps the party is allowing this to
No, if it does not, it's not in contrary to the constitution of the party. If the party's constitution does not debar such a meeting, what's wrong? I'm saying that those who want to compete with the man should also go freely and then also talk to anybody that you want to talk to. I don't see the constitution of the MPP trying to debar somebody from interacting with party executives. Everybody has the right to interact, so I don't see anything wrong with what Nana is doing. Whether you go or not go, people will come and say that it's part of our tradition.
Okay, let's move to security in northern Ghana. And in Tamale, there were some skirmishes the last couple of days, and now security has been restored. But then there is the issue of how we need to make sure that the security situation is stabilized or is sustained.
I think that we should be very careful the way we are handling Tamale issues. You know, I don't know why those who are in the north have not gathered enough experience to deal with the people of the north. Do you know personally?
You mean the security people?
The security people and the people from the north. Do you know personally, on my Facebook, about 70% of my friends are northness. Northness love peace. they believe in principles. They believe in the truth. There are people who, when you go to the north,
they're very principled. They're very strict. Yeah.
They're all straight. They don't like cheating. They don't like lies. They don't like, so we need people who should study the psyche of these people and then measure them. It's easy to mobilize people of the north and to channel their energy into development. But the leaders there are not doing it because of they're selfish. Some of them are using gaining politically. Some of them, when there's conflict, they gain economically. Some of them, when there's conflict, it benefits a particular section. And so they are finding it. Because the youth of the north are not violent by nature. It is people who cause them to be violent. So we should have genuine people who can go there and rally the youth for productivity. Rally the youth, but don't too much talk. And then you talk one thing and you go and do the other thing. So I love the people of the north, and I'll always be there. And I think that they are not violent as we think. It's somebody who is fueling the violent. And we should be going to look for those people and name and shame them. Because the northness are hardworking people. When you see them when they come to the south, you know what the job they do. They are when you take them to the security, they are the most disciplined people when it comes to security. Loyalty, they are there. Hard work, they are there. Look at the carriers. So there are people who want to work. But people have taken advantage of them because of their loyalty and then their commitment to whatever they are doing. So if you pay them to do violent, they will do violent. They are committed to whatever. If you pay them to do good, they will do good. But I'm saying that their energies can be used for something better.
So it's just about maximizing
and having people who understand them and then move freely with them. They are good people. I love them.
Okay, that's where we end our discussions on AM Talk this morning. I've had with me, doing marvelously well with the discussions this morning, lawyer Dr. Acquah. Thanks.
Maurice Ampao.
Maurice Ampao. Okay. You're always ready to correct me on that subject. And thanks for joining me this morning. That's been it for AM Talk. We still have a lot more for you on the AM Show, which is live on the Joy News channel of Multi TV.